In this video, I want to show you a technique called filtering. Filtering is essentially a way that we can represent and display data in a little bit more effective manner so we can interpret the data more easily. Okay, so filtering, provides us a quick and easy way to find data and work with a subset of data, provided that certain conditions of the data are intact. So when you're filtering data, the Excel spreadsheet will only display rows that meet a certain condition. Here are a few notes about filtering. Filtering actually is an additive process, which essentially means that we can add filters on various columns. So once we filter one column with a certain condition, which can be a number condition, a text, data, color, or even an icon condition, we can add subsequent conditions, and all of those filters will be taken account simultaneously, and you'll be left with only the data that meets all of those conditions. So let's go ahead and look at a task that we have planned for you in the learning activity. We have a scenario where we have collected real estate data in Ohio. Basically, the data represents various homes for sale, the square footage, the price, the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, etc. Our objective in this example is to filter out from the data only the homes that have 2 or 3 bedrooms and are located in Hilliard or Westerville and are priced between $150,000 and $250,000. So let's go ahead and begin by opening up the starting spreadsheet for this learning activity. Okay, once you open up the starting spreadsheet, we'll see the data set that we've provided. Again, we have price, number of bedrooms, the size of the house, whether it has a pool or not, the distance from a school, townships, the garage, and bathrooms. And actually we have data for about 105 different homes in these areas. And we would like to use a technique that we can easily spot the homes that are of interest to us. And in this case, we are only interested in 2 or 3 bedrooms, either in Hilliard or Westerville, and priced between $150,000 and $250,000. So one way we can actually do this is go select on any portion of this range of data that has data in it. So basically what I'm talking about is anywhere that has a value in it that's connected to this table. Go to Data, and then you'll see a Filter button. Let's go ahead and hit Filter. What you'll actually notice now is that we have these little arrows on all of the column labels. And what we can do is actually hit these buttons, and it'll give us some filtering options. So the first thing I want to do is filter by the number of bedrooms. So if we hit this arrow down here, we see a variety of things that we can control. For example, we can actually sort, largest to smallest. We can actually sort by color. Number filters are very handy. We can filter numbers that are, let's say, equal to a certain number, does not equal a number, greater than, less than, or equal to, maybe a between, maybe a value within the top 10%, below average, and so forth. So there's actually quite a bit of filtering options here that you have available to you. What we're seeing actually down here is a list of all of the values in this range. So when we look at bedrooms, what we have here is anywhere from 2 to it looks like 8. So what we actually want to do is filter and only include the bedrooms that have, or the homes that have 2 or 3. So the easiest way to do this is to check this button here that is Select All. And once you hit Select All, it either highlights everything, check marks all of the values here, or deselects everything. And once we deselect everything, what we actually want to do is only check the 2 or 3 bedroom condition and hit OK. Now you can actually see that the rows here are now highlighted in blue, which indicates that some are hidden, and then we're actually filtering the data. You can see if you scroll up to the very top, we have row 1, and then it skips to row 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but then to 16, 18, 20. So we have data that's sort of hidden, if you will. It's actually filtered out because we only want to display the information that is desirable to us, and namely the 2 and 3 bedroom. So the next condition we want to filter out, we just did a numeric example. How about a text example? Let's look at township. We can hit the arrow down here. We have similar options here. And now we're displaying all the townships. So I want to use the same technique and basically deselect everything and only include Hilliard and Westerville. Let's hit OK there. We do see the data set has been reduced greatly. Actually, we can see it all on one page now. I just want to explore that we do have extra text filters. Excel knows that we have a column of text information, so it's going to provide us with some additional filtering techniques. So equals, does not equals, begins with a certain letter, contains a certain letter or phrase, and so forth. So there's actually some other options here for you. But the easiest way to do it, as far as what we want for this exercise, is just to deselect everything, select Hilliard and Westerville, and hit OK. Okay, the final thing that we want to do in this particular example is to filter out the price. So we have various prices of all these houses, but some are below our desired minimum level and some are above our maximum level. So let's go to the price. Now we could use a very similar technique and deselect manually any value below 150 and deselect anything above 250. In this particular case, it's actually not that difficult because of our data set only has one value below 150 and one value above 250. So that wasn't very difficult. But you can imagine if my range was, let's say, between 190 to, let's say, 217, then we have to click a lot more. Well, it could even be a much larger data set with many, many options here. So what I'm trying to suggest is this isn't necessarily the best way to manually control these fields. What I would actually do is use a number filter, and specifically I want to use the between. So let's go ahead and implement this. We have the option here that price is greater than or equal to, and we could type in our lower bound of 150. And the and condition here is less than or equal to 250. So let's go ahead and hit OK there. So now our data set is reduced even further. What we might want to do is sort this data perhaps by price, or maybe we want to sort this by township and some other fields. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and sort by township and then price. So I'm going to highlight the data I have available. I'm going to go to sort. I want to filter by township, and then I'm going to stack another field here that is based on price. So let's go ahead and hit OK. Now we have our data in a much more easily interpretable format. So we have all of our houses here that meet the condition that it's in. Either Hilliard or Westerville has 2 or 3 bedrooms, and we have furthermore filtered out any price that's less than our minimum of 150 and or is greater than 250. The other thing that we can actually do is filter by color. And I'm just bringing this up as an example. Let me scroll to the top here and zoom in just a little bit. We have our same data set. What I'm actually using here is at a conditional format. If we go to conditional format and manage rules, we can see that there's various rules applied to the townships. So I have Dublin highlighted and filled with orange, Westerville, for example, in blue, Hilliard in green, Gahana in this purple color, and so forth. So we have these various conditions with our conditional formatting, and again, this is just an example. You might use other conditional formatting and so forth in your spreadsheets, but if we want to filter by color, we can do that, but there's some limitations. So let's go ahead and filter this again. Let's say filter. That would be under your data tab. Filter. It's going to bring those arrows up. Let's go ahead and complete the activity by filtering the 2 and 3 bedrooms. Certainly we could use a number format and say between, but this was one way we could do it. We could hit OK. We want the township to be either Hilliard or Westerville. OK. And then we want the price in between, and I'll use the between function, 150 and 250, and hit OK. We can also filter by color. So we can actually filter, and this is the final step. We actually can't filter by multiple colors in this current version of Excel. So once you select any of these colors that are used in this particular column of townships, it'll filter out the rest. So let's say we only wanted blue, which corresponds to Westerville. We'll actually hide everything else. So when you're sorting, we can sort by multiple colors, but when we're filtering, it actually has the limitation of only filtering by one single color. So you can try to hit control and some of these other colors, but only one will display. So I'm going to leave this filtered, and you saw I just selected the blue again, and what that actually did was take off that filter. So I'm going to leave this exercise filtered with the Westerville data, and I just want to sort this in a fashion that we sorted the other one. So township, just to be consistent, township, it's only displaying Westerville, but that's okay. And then by price, ascending order, okay. So in review, what we have done is we've taken a look at some data. We filtered numerically by checking and unchecking certain conditions. We've actually looked at text values. We've we filtered this price based on a range, and then we sorted the entire subset of data. We've done a similar thing here with the addition of filtering by color.